so close. What is up, everybody? How's it going? I've just been doing some target practice here at the archery range. I got so close to hitting the bullseye of that one way down there, but I did not get it. Hopefully someday. But all in all, I really enjoy the archery range, and our Fletcher here is very happy with his job running the archery range. So the question is, of course, what do we want to do next? I love the look of the things we have added to the village, and I'm so excited to keep working on it and expanding it. As per usual with me, my first thoughts are about functionality, and thinking through it, there's not too much more I want to add in terms of functionality to this village. This village isn't really going to be a all-inclusive trading hall with all the best trades of all the best things, but rather this is going to be kind of my first villager area for early game purposes. And later we may do something a little more extreme, a little more comprehensive. And so today we are going to focus on two little additions I want to add to the village. One of them is going to involve a new build that I'm really excited about, and I really hope comes out how I'm wanting it. The other involves a past project that we have worked on, and that is... Whoa, how are you both farmers? What happened? Interesting. So, one of them involves this here farmer. I would like to get our farmer here in the greenhouse all the way leveled up, because if we can do that, he will then sell one of my favorite foods in the entire game. Well, I don't have a lot of melons. If I want to level him up fast, I may just need to take cookies, which, you know what, why not? Boy, does he sell them in bulk. Ooh, now he's offering different suspicious stews. We'll have to see what they do. I'll buy one of each. Alright, this is the upper stew. Well, that's no good. This is the lower stew. Oh. Wow, dude. Really? Weakness and blindness. But you know, I really want to level this guy up. So I'm gonna buy his awful stew. Have you ever eaten someone else's cooking, and it was so bad that you literally went blind temporarily? That's never happened to me in real life. I'm kind of glad. There it is. Here's the food that I really want to live off of. Golden carrots. I love golden carrots as a food source. On the one hand, you can trade emeralds for golden carrots, which makes them very easily sustainable without having to unkindly take advantage of any creatures in Minecraft, which I like. And they really do have quite a good amount of saturation that they give you. So I didn't realize how fast that was going to be, but that is the whole first project done and dusted. We now have a villager who sells golden carrots. However, I now have over 2 stacks of cookies from leveling up that villager. So while I build up a little stockpile of golden carrots over the next little while, I think I'll live off of these cookies for a bit. Well, as I said, that goal was a little bit easier to reach than I realized. I forgot that the villager could have things that I could buy for emeralds. I was expecting to have to grow a bunch of crops to sell to him, but I've got so many emeralds, so now we've got golden carrots. And now it is time to add our next expansion to the village. See, me and the villagers have been talking, and we're really loving how the village has been shaping up. We've got a wonderful archery range, we've got resource production with the iron farm, the blacksmiths doing their job. Now we've got golden carrot production. We've got a wonderful town library to visit. All in all, I and the villagers are very proud of what we've done here so far. And they're wanting to be able to spread their commerce to other people to enjoy. And we've realized that the village is, you know, fairly isolated from anything, but sits nicely on this river. And so we want to set up a nice spot on this river where we'd be able to welcome visitors. A big dock system, a place where goods could be imported and exported, where visitors could come and leave the village, and I think that that sounds like a wonderful idea. So that's what we're gonna do, and I think we're going to try and do something where we build the dock close enough that we can kind of connect what we're doing to this building here, and this can be kind of the boathouse. And I have some other fun ideas for things we can do on the dock, but let's go grab some resources. And as we have often done, we're going to be taking Trolley with us, because I've just come to love having extra inventory space in the form of a wonderful steed. And we're also going to be bringing Tony and Archibald with us. Archibald, get down here. I really enjoyed having them when I was working on the library, and there were multiple moments when we were building the archery range that I wished that I had my allays with me. So today we're bringing them. For our block palette today, we're going to be using mangrove, spruce, dark oak, woods that we have seen plenty of in my builds already. And today, I want to dive into the bamboo family a little bit more. We used the green bamboo planks on the archery range last episode, and today I do want to actually try and use some of the rest of the bamboo family, the yellow wood type. So to help make sure I have enough bamboo for this project, I'm going to plant an impromptu bamboo farm over here. But to start us out on our build today, we're going to need some spruce planks, some bamboo planks, and some dark oak logs. Now that I'm looking around a little bit, I'm actually loving this area here, which is a bit further away from that building, but we don't necessarily need to use that building. But I love how there's so much relatively shallow water in this area, and so it would make sense structurally to use this area as the foundation of the dock, because we won't have to dig down, or rather build down too deep in the water. Yeah, I think this could be really cool. So when it comes to building a dock, I imagine it is somewhat similar to building a bridge, and I really do like our bridge. However, once it was finished and I was looking at it, I did realize I maybe would have liked it to be a little wider, but I'm not going to redo the whole bridge, so it gets to be that size. But when it comes to the dock, I think I would like to widen it a little wider than we did the bridge. And my plan for the design is that it's going to be made predominantly out of spruce, but we're going to use bamboo as a highlight block, an accent. So we'll have kind of a yellow stripe running through the middle of it. And then we're going to use dark oak logs as our supports. Yeah, this is looking pretty good so far. Oh. Oh man, did you guys see that? That didn't start a fire, did it? I don't think it did. Oh, I saw where that lightning struck. Someday I will stay up during a thunderstorm and we'll go looking for skeleton horses or charged creepers, but that is not today. For today, we are building a dock. And I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing with this dock. I kind of sketched out a design in a creative world, but I was looking more at the block palette, the basics I would use for building out the whole dock, but not exactly building out the shape of it, because I wanted to kind of shape it based on the terrain I was working with. I would love to have a lot of little sections of dock jutting off of the bigger section. I want to put a building or two on stilts above the water, and I may or may not actually turn the dock into something of a bridge connecting up to that land right over there on that side of the river, just to give me another path into the village other than going all the way around that way. So we'll see how this turns out. I think for now, I'm going to go ahead and try and make my first part of the dock that comes off. And when these parts come off, I think I also want them to come down. And the idea will be that these are the parts of the dock that will sit right down at the water level, which is where boats would actually be able to dock. Because theoretically speaking, a dock this high, that's sticking up like 6 feet out of the water, 2 meters. And if a ship were to dock up against this dock, that's going to be a pretty tall boat. And the actual boats in Minecraft are not nearly that tall. So we're going to make a lower down section for smaller boats, like someone might actually be riding in Minecraft. And I think it could be fun to also have the shape of it curve a little bit, so that it's not just a straight line, but rather something like this. Okay, so Allay do not know how to deal with water, apparently. That's good to know. Yeah, something like this. And And then theoretically, if I wanted to, I could just like leave a boat here. And anytime I want to take this river, because it connects all the way to the oceans in the northwest. I always get my east and west mixed up. I could just leave a boat here instead of in some chest in the storage system, and then I could just come down to the dock and head off from here. That could be pretty cool. So, I'm putting this dock together kind of like a puzzle, or I'm thinking of it in pieces and piecing them together. And there's kind of main segments and auxiliary segments. The side segments are thinner, they're only 3 wide. They come down to towards the water level. The main segments are higher up and are 5 wide. So I'm thinking I want... Whoops. I think I want to add another main section coming off this direction and maybe running a bit in parallel with this one. And we're going to put some buildings on stilts over this part of the river where the floor is higher up. And I'm also trying to figure out if there is a good way to connect over to that shore or if I want to leave it detached. I'm also thinking that I maybe don't have to connect everything together. Like I could just put some freestanding docks over there and really just make this feel like a very big maritime area of the village. I think it could be pretty cool. Alright, here's kind of the idea for this area. We have this other main section coming out this way. I'm going to build something off to this side, and then we're also going to have a big important building right here. And I would like to actually outline this area in the yellow bamboo wood. I think this is how big an area I want. And we're going to take this yellow square and surround it with the spruce wood, and we'll also fill it in with spruce wood. And right here in this area, we're going to be building a very special building because we have in our village many helpful people. We've got the blacksmiths that are helping with the iron production. We've got the Fletcher who's over the archery range, and we need someone who's going to watch over the dock. Someone who's going to kind of be in charge of the imports and exports of the village. I don't know of the specific name of the profession I am describing, but we basically need a dock master. We need the person who is going to make sure that everything stays nice and organized when it comes to commerce and visitors. So let's get building this wonderful house. I think we're going to start with dark oak stairs all the way around. And then above them, we're going to do some upside down stairs just to give it a nice cool indent in the wall, because the shape I laid down is just a square, and it would be really easy to just turn this into a big box, a big cube. But that's not what I'm wanting. So something like this to add just a little bit of variation into the wall depth goes a long way to keep it from looking too boring. That does mean, though, the way we've set up the doorway, that the floor is going to end up sitting 1 block higher than what we've got here. And when it comes to the floor, I believe... Actually, I don't even know the recipe. If I use bamboo tiles... Okay, sorry, bamboo slabs, we can make bamboo mosaic. And then I can take the mosaic blocks and turn them into slabs too. Turning them into slabs makes it half as expensive to build this floor. But the bamboo mosaic has a cool pattern compared to the normal bamboo. We've got kind of these bamboo slats like this, but here we have this little tile pattern, and I think it looks pretty cool. So we're going to throw that on the floor in this building. So it both matches the dock, but is also different from the dock. Now, at every point in every project I've done, I always hit a point where I realize I did not bring all the supplies that I needed to bring. So we're back at the storage building, grabbing some stuff that I forgot. I guess that's the nice thing about building across the river from where I live. It's not that hard to run home and grab things if I forget them. Now, here on the front side of the build, we're going to switch to spruce wood as we move up, and we're going to do a very similar thing, where we do 2 rows of stairs, flipped in opposite directions. However, for the rest of the sides, we're just going to build up the corners with some spruce planks like that, and let these be big open windows. I think that'll help give this building a really nice open air vibe, which, when it comes to boats and fishing and maritime stuff, I think open air is the feeling that I would expect. A lot of things on docks are not entirely enclosed, letting in the fresh sea air. Although we're on a river, so here there wouldn't be the smell of salt on the wind. Now for just a little bit of detail, we're going to use trapdoors to just add a little bit more beef to these support pillars in the corners. And in similar manner, up on the tops, we'll do it, but with spruce trapdoors. I'm trying to keep all the dark oak pretty low in the build, like so. I think now we just need to throw a roof on it. And for the roof, we're going to bring in some mangrove wood. We'll start with just a complete ring around the top. And then in the corners, we're going to use some trapdoors to get some interesting depth and curvature, because that way the slab kind of slopes down into the trapdoor, and then this trapdoor is placed at the very top of the next block down, so it sits a little lower, and so we get this cool slope where the corners hang down lower than anything else, and I think it looks pretty nice. Cool, so with all the corners and overhangs in, now we can raise up the middle. Oh, I missed this side. We can go ahead and just make a nice, gentle kind of dome curving up into the top of the roof. And that'll cap off our build. And there it is. Our very simple build over the river. There's a lot of detail work to do left to get it looking its best, but for now this is a good start. Well, before we get our villager and move them into their new home, let's do a little bit more work on the dock, because I very much did kind of speed to that build because I knew this was going to be one of the main focal points of this dock area, and so I wanted to build around it and with it in mind. So I wanted to get it up so I could see how everything else fit in relation to it. So at this point of the dock, this main section here has been pretty straight, pretty flat up to this point, with just a few things breaking off on the sides. And I think, just for some variation, right here I want it to drop down a bit. Even though I said the main sections were going to be higher up, we're going to drop this down. Now this does mean, if I bring this down and connect things up, that if I actually wanted to sail in a boat through this area, I'd have to come underneath the dock right here. And honestly, I'm fine with that because the chances of me needing to come through here on a boat are pretty slim. So I don't mind if that functionality isn't exactly perfect right here. Yeah, but even with just this simple step down, I feel like we can already continue in the same direction for a little while longer without it being too much of the same. Subtle variation is a great tool in helping keep a Minecraft build fresh. I was thinking that right here I would kind of turn the whole thing, but I think it might be better to actually make this a smaller section of the dock, and I might even drop it down to where it sits right in the water level. I don't know if what I just said makes any sense. I want to make it so that right here the dock sits literally just above the water level. I think that looks really good, and while it doesn't totally connect up to the land, it's really not that hard to get right over here, and then we're on our way into the village. So that works for what I intended. Boats would still be able to come around here, and I think it's looking pretty good. Nice, I think this is looking pretty good so far. I'm really enjoying the asymmetry of the pillars. I did that on purpose. I wanted them to line up more with things that were coming off, and I don't know, it's nice getting away from symmetry every now and again. This always happens when I plant bamboo in a village. The villagers find their way in, but then sometimes their pathfinding makes it hard for them to get out of the bamboo. So now I'd like to craft up some bamboo fences and use them to bring a little bit more of this yellow into the build. I do like this stripe in the middle, but it is kind of lonely at the moment. The fences also provide a degree of safety to those traveling across the dock, which is always good. Now I love these little railings we've put on the main sections. These lower down sections are a little too thin. The railing would kind of narrow this down to a one block path, which I don't like. So I think we'll kind of put fences on the side like this, more as an accent visually, and they won't serve the same function as they do up there. But I think here from the side, it looks pretty nice. And we'll leave the very end of it unblocked for loading and unloading of boats. Oh, I think the dock is coming along pretty nice. There's still a few more things to build. We need to figure out how to end the dock over there. However, some of the detail work that I want to do here on the dock involves workstations. And since I'm planning on moving a villager in there, that is going to be incredibly difficult if I've got workstations lying around here on the dock. So we are going to get our villager in now so that I can decorate as I please without messing myself up in the future. But before we move on, I just need to make a quick comment about these cookies. They are so unfilling. I am eating like all the time and I hate it. I didn't realize what a bad food source cookies were. So any of you whose parents has told you that you couldn't have cookies for dinner, they knew what they were talking about. These things are not filling at all. Not even in this game. So, a villager. We need a villager who can be in charge of the docks and the commerce of our little community. So what kind of villager should it be? If we use a barrel, we could get a fisherman. That would make sense on a dock, but if this guy's going to be all about regulating commerce and traffic flow, I imagine he's going to be someone who's interested in where things are coming from, parts of the world. Someone who likes maps. Someone like me. And that, of course, means that we would want to make a cartography table to get ourselves a cartographer. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So now all we need is an unemployed villager who would like to come work on the dock. You know, I don't think there's really a need for 4 leather workers in this village. So we will invite this guy over to the dock. And it looks like he is coming along happily. Ah, I see you like to hover above the fences. Like a sailor who's climbing up and down the riggings of his ship. With no real regard for his own safety. Sounds like you're the perfect man for this job. And I'm gonna move your table right there. There we go. We've got ourselves a cartographer. We can sell him paper, and he can sell us maps. We will be working with this guy in the future, leveling him up, getting his better trades. But for now, he's in, and that's all we needed. However, if we're going to have this guy in here, I feel like we should at least make it a little bit better for him. These are some sparse living conditions, and this guy deserves better. So, let's see what we can find him. We can make him a bed. We'll make it red to match the mangrove roof. We'll put his bed in this corner, and I think it could also be a ton of fun to decorate this guy's room with the buried treasure maps that I've filled in and collected. This was one that I purposefully didn't fill in the hopes that it would end up looking really cool, and then the map ended up having like nothing on it, which is a little sad. So we'll just pretend this is a map he's still working on, and that's why it has so little detail to it. But now this feels like the room of a mapsman. For some final details, we can give him a little workbench here, a chair over there, and now the room's filled up a bit. Welcome to the team, Mr. Cartographer. So with our new villager happily working away, I think it's time to finish off the dock and then get to work on all the details. So now we come to the question of, how do I want to end the dock? And I think what I want to do is step this down to the same level as this platform and curve it to the left, and I think it'll just end there. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I think something like that will be a good end to the dock. And with that, we're pretty much done with our wonderful new dock. We still need to build something over there, but all in all, I'm pretty happy with how this came together. Alright guys, we're gonna finish up real quick with just a little bit of detail work. I think it would look really cool to have some barrels lying around, something like this. And I may also throw some chests in. Maybe. The chests may need to be a bit more sparse than the barrels. But I think it does all add to the feeling of this being a port, a dock. And I do like that. I think I might also throw a chest in here with the cartographer, just in case there's ever anything that needs to be stored in here. Now we're going to look at adding some greenery. Yeah, I threw down a bit just around this building. I don't know that it makes complete sense for there to be bushes on a platform above the water, but I think it looks nice, and in the end that's going to fit better with the whole village once we get the overgrowth in everywhere. I'm not exactly sure how to get bushes to interact with the fence railing we've put up. Maybe something simple like that could work. I'll have to get a sense for how well I like that. Yeah, I think that adds some nice green to the dock. I may mess around with that a little bit more. Now the last thing I would like to try and do is add some mangrove trees in the water. I'm not 100% sure how well this will work. I think this will either add a lot to this area or it'll kind of ruin it. Don't totally like having it connect to the fence like that, but I can fix that easy enough. Oh, yes. I am glad that it was like a smaller tree. I think smaller mangrove trees will work much better with what I'm trying to do. Yeah, little tree there, that's good. Alright, give me a medium-sized tree. Okay, I can live with that. Oh yes, and now things are starting to peek out from around the trees. I don't want to go too crazy with the mangrove trees, but I do like the effect it's having. I love it. These trees are all coming out like the perfect size for what I'm wanting. Oh, this one may have come out a little bit too big. I may need to trim this one down. But on the other hand, it does fit what I'm going for. We'll put one last tree over here. Yes, and I put the big tree in the back. I think the trees work nicely. We'll probably get more trees in once I do trees throughout the whole village, but for now, I think they do a lot to finish off the dock area. So I think with that, we're gonna call this episode good. I had a ton of fun working on this project. Building a dock system isn't something I've ever done before, and I think I may continue expanding on it, adding more docks here and there. But thank you guys so much for being here and watching. If you enjoyed the video, do leave a like, and I hope you guys all have an absolutely wonderful holiday season. See you guys in the next episode. Have a great day.